Hello, YarnTubers. Welcome to Wanderlust Crochet with Dana and Benji. And today I'm going to be asking you to answer a question for me. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you how this kind of came about this week. First of all, my friend Doris Artman was tagged to answer 12 questions from another crocheter. And for reasons that I'll share over in the Discord chat, I decided not to do that. Sorry, Doris, but I'm coming back at you with something else because I want to support my friend Doris and respond to her. So that was on my mind when I was watching my friend Carrie over at Carrie's Crochet and Craft, and I'll link both those videos down below, the one from Doris and the one from Carrie. And she showed a blanket that she's working on that I have seen before. I've seen her show the pattern of the blanket she's making, and I've run across it in my, deep rabbit holes of looking at projects. And I got to thinking about what crochet projects would my heart just sing over if I was just sitting and doing that. And I mean with no deadlines. So here's kind of the parameters of my question. No deadlines, not for somebody else, just something I want to do and not something I've already started. So stay tuned. I'm going to tell you how this works. So I'm excited to hear from all of you. Place yourself in one of two categories. You're either going to participate as one of our fabulous viewers here on the channel, or you're going to participate as one of my buddy content creators here on YarnTube, CrochetTube community. So here are the four things I want you to think about when looking at projects. One, it has to be something you kind of you feel a little emotion, you feel a little something in your heart. When you look at that pattern and the pictures, that it's something that, oh, you would really like to crochet that. Number two, there would be no deadline on it. This is not for sale. This is not for some event. This is something you can just plug away at, take your time at, and really enjoy the process. Number three, like I said, no intended participants. So for the moment, it's just for you. And number four, you haven't started it yet. So as a viewer, I want you to watch the four projects that I share and then comment down below describing the project that comes to mind using these four little rules. And if you're one of my buddy crochet tubers uploading content, you are welcome to upload a video highlighting your four projects that get you excited, and I will tag a bunch of you at the end. Now, before I share the four that I came up with, including the one that Carrie inspired me with the other day, I'm going to share with you why I said it's got to be something you haven't started, and I'm going to include things you have already done, even if you want to do a second one, because I've got one of those in here. I got to thinking that, well, I've already got four that I wish I was just sitting here working on. One is the Artisan Afghan by Selena Baca that I started a few years back. Some of you may remember. I also started the Annie Seaside Sampler for my cousin Lisa. I would love to be sitting here working on that. The Montana by Tina. We are going to be working on our mosaics together this year. And this granny cardigan from MJ's Off the Hook that I have started and I will be working on next month. I've also already done the fruit garden, but I do plan on doing another one next year with a handful of you who are joining me. So there are some ideas for those of you just to get the creative thoughts flowing. But now I'm going to share with you four new ones that I'm really excited about. The first one that really gets me excited is actually called the Winter Walk blanket. It's on the Wool Thread Paint website, and the artist is Marion Mitchell. Now, I have told you before, I've said in previous videos, that a granny square can be more than just a granny square when you get color involved. And this is exactly what she's done, along with not only doing all these 4-round granny squares, but she's also doing some 1-round granny squares and different borders around, different rounds. You can see that she's done something different on that last round of squares. There's kind of these X's and all kinds of different things that she's done to make a regular granny square blanket just a little more complicated. And what we see here is she does it in a Stylecraft Special DK with a 4mm hook. She has a whole playlist of not exactly tutorials for this blanket, but they are accompanying they're complimentary videos in this playlist for this blanket. Now, these pictures I'm showing you, these are some of the projects that that are shown on Ravelry. I mean, they're just gorgeous. And this very last one was actually done in thread. Now, let me tell you, she also has, this is what you know, inspired me for this video, partially inspired me, was Carrie, my friend Carrie, is doing the beach walk blanket, which is very, very similar. But I just got done looking at the difference between the two, and there are differences in how these blankets are done. They're pretty subtle, but again, the star of the show here is the color. So I can really see myself doing a deep dive, planning this blanket and working on it for quite a while, enjoying all the different colors. Now, one of my, probably my number one favorite designer is Jane Crowfoot of Janie Crow Designs. And yes, I've done the fruit garden and I plan on doing another one, but for this video, I want to talk about Persian tiles. Now, here is her original colorway, which I, of course, would make some real, you know, changes with those reds and oranges. Maybe go along the purple line. I don't know. I would really do a deep dive into changing those colors. And she has a couple of others. So this one is the original. And then there is a light blue version, which I might base my colors off of more like this one. And then there's this third one that I really don't know how to pronounce that one. And then another designer did it in these Eastern tiles colors. Now, what if, you know, you took something like this and you just made it your own? Like, what if I made it more blues, greens, lavenders, lilacs, maybe some grays? Or in the original colorway, there is a couple rounds or a round of black, which made me think that the rest of the colors could make it look more like a stained glass version. I mean, we have a lot of inspiration when it comes to choosing colors for a project like this. The fruit garden blanket was more complex than this one. So this one, if you want to, you know, bring it back down a couple of notches, there are 16 of those octagons, and then the squares are granny squares, and then there are triangles. There's just a few of those. So you could actually, you could do all the octagons and squares, you know, in different color combinations, or like a lot of these are done, you could do all the octagons, you know, everything in the same color combination. And man, there are so many options. But this one, it would be a real joy to work on this, and I can't imagine the emotion I would feel looking at it when it was all said and done. So number 3 on my heart crochet list is an Entrelac blanket, which is basically just a series of squares done in a Tunisian simple stitch. And there are so many different ways to do an Entrelac. I mean, not only, you know, how you do the colors, but also you can do it in rows, in rounds, you can do it corner to corner, you can even do graph can type designs and geometric designs. But when I look at an Entrelac blanket, I think about my grandma Lovell's patchwork quilt, and it was done in red, white, and blue, and yeah, that thing's long gone now. But that's what I think of when I look at an Entrelac. But what I would really love to do is take these wee skeins, also known as pickle jar yarn, and just taking them, I would really go down a rabbit hole. I would, you know, play around with a couple different size hooks and different stitch counts for the Entrelac squares and figure out, you know, how big a square, what size square I could get out of just one of these little wee skeins. And then as I went, I could just keep adding all of these skeins and adding more squares. I mean, don't you think this would make an amazing Entrelac blanket? The last one on my heart crochet list, number 4, is the Fiesta cowl by Tina. And this is a mosaic design done in octagons and squares. Now, Tina's original colors, they are fantastic as usual, a little loud for my taste, but just look at all these different possibilities with not only the colors, but the size. And I was going through the Ravelry projects for the Fiesta cowl, and I found not only all different sizes and colors of this design, but also I found pillows, I found a sweater, I found a stool topper, and even a bag. I mean, this is something that I could really nerd out on. And oh, the colors I could come up with. I could do like all icy blues and whites and grays, or all purples and lavenders and whites. I mean, all the different possibilities. Can you picture this laying on your bed? I mean, wouldn't that just make your heart explode? So those are the 4. While I'm sitting here in Springfield, Missouri, these are kind of bucket list kind of things that I could sit here and fantasize about working on. What about you? For you viewers, you know, pick a hashtag crochet heart project that that you would love to be doing. Just, you know, following the guidelines. It's something you want to make. You've got no deadline. It's not something you're going to sell. And for the moment, you know, you don't have anybody in mind for that project. It could just be for you. And it's not a whip. It's not something you've started yet. So describe one of those projects in the comments, because what you're going to do is you're going to inspire the rest of us. Some of us might want to add that to our crochet heart list, or to our scorched earth list. And for my fellow uploaders, my crochet tubers here on YouTube, you know, come up with at least 4 and upload a video using the hashtag crochet heart, and let's get everybody's, you know, creative juices going, get our you know, imaginations and creativity going, and try to inspire each other to even more fabulous crochet projects. Granted, mine are all Afghans, but that's just where my heart is. Maybe yours is somewhere else. Let's hear from you guys. Now up next, I'm going to tag quite a few of you. So here are the ones I could think of just sitting here off the top of my head to tag: Doris Artman, Carrie from Carrie's Crochet and Craft, Robin roaming with Rover, Amber fostering crochet, the Crafty Yarn Owl, Darla, Rochelle, she can do all things, Lori the armchair chef, Christine's craft table, Rose likes crochet, Jill the fiber floozy, Miguel who knows, Carrie the yarny elephant, Cynthia's joyful crochet, Karen KB fibers, Crochet Vision, Jamie from Jamie's Hooked, and let's throw in Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. Let's get his attention. Okay, so you guys know what to do. I'll be looking forward to searching the hashtag and seeing all the inspiration you guys come up with. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.